All right, Larry, we're in December. The holidays are upon us, and we got some more data to look at. November. Um, Most communities that we've been looking at tend to be, we would expect to see lower sales at this point of year as we wind down for the holidays. So that's a seasonal thing. But price points have dipped a little bit further as well.
Yeah, we've seen obviously sales are down again. That seasonality compounded with everything else going on. We've also seen inventory kind of slow down. More so, I think this year, a lot of people who've been on the market for a long time have gotten to the point now where they're saying, you know what, let's just hit the brakes for the holidays, take a breather, spend some time with family, and then let's get back on the market in the new year.
Yeah.
So we have seen a lot of listings expire or come off the market that haven't really even gone back up yet. That doesn't mean that they're not selling. It just means that they're going to hold off until the new year. So we've seen a drop there. All that happening, we've still seen an increase in months of inventory on the market. So right now, between Oakville, Burlington, Hamilton, Mississauga, we're carrying between 5 and 6 months of inventory right now as an average. And depending on the product you're looking at, condos, for example, we're pushing upwards 8 months to a year in
Yeah.
some neighborhoods. So yeah, there's been a significant buildup on that side, and obviously with the seasonality going on right now and everything else, we're starting to see a little bit of, I guess, a little bit of a chess match happening there with listings. But I think you'll see the inventory ramp up again once we hit January. You'll see a lot of these homes that you've seen for sale come back up on the market in January.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks are going to be picking various entry points. For some, it'll be beginning of January, some will be February, some will be spring. I've heard many people saying they're talking about going back on market in the spring.
Yeah.
The thing that kind of worries me a little bit about that game plan of waiting for spring is that if too many people have the same idea, you could run up a big influx of new inventory in a relatively short period of time. And if the demand doesn't keep pace with that, then you will start to see some of the things we just talked about: longer days on market, greater months of inventory, and potentially further dip in price.
Yeah. I mean, every year we hear about the spring market being the best time to sell. We just haven't seen that pop the last couple of years because of
No.
what's going on. Now, it traditionally is when more sales happen, but we've seen the downfall on that side as well over the last couple of years. I think right now the biggest thing is if you are selling your home, if you're on your market and you're going to come off for a little bit, it's not waiting to the spring to go on the market with everybody else. I think right now visibility is king. You're looking for a buyer that wants to buy your home, that you have the features and benefits that matches the list that they're looking for. And in order for you to find that buyer to find you, you need to be on the market. So
There's
take
no
a
other way.
break, get through the holidays, but I don't think it's a wait till April to hit the market. I think by middle of January, we should be getting those listings back up there and get out there and be available for when that right buyer is shopping.
Yeah, I agree. That's the story I've been sharing with many sellers lately. And this week we've got a couple days from now another rate announcement. I don't think we're going to see any change on that front. The employment numbers were actually pretty strong.
Yeah.
So
Now, how much
chance,
of that, I don't know, you might know, John, but how much of those employment numbers were part-time jobs?
well,
Because we've always
a
seen,
large percentage.
yeah, because we always do see a bump in employment this time of year heading into the holiday season, and that kind of skews things. I agree. I don't think we're going to see any movements in the rates, but we've had what 6 or 7 rate reductions now in a row,
Yeah.
and none of those have moved the real estate needle. So I mean, I'm not sitting here thinking a rate adjustment's going to put real estate over the top.
No, but so coming into the new year, it'll be the same rate environment
Yeah,
that folks are used to right now.
exactly.
Again, probably no change. See what the new year brings on that front. I think the bigger issue isn't rate. It's probably more so price. People thinking maybe their buyers, that is, will think that maybe prices might dip a little further, so they're watching and waiting for that to happen. But beyond that, I think it's a consumer confidence issue, and that stems likely in large part due to what's happening south of the border with Trump and tariffs and how that impacts our job market. And if people are worried about employment and the economy on that front, there's a good chance they're probably going to put off making major decisions around a move or other large purchases for that matter.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you've seen a lot out there right now, not just across real estate, but across the economy in general, where we've seen a slowdown. Look at the automotive industry. I mean, right
Yeah,
now there's a ton of deals out there because they've got inventory sitting on lots they can't sell.
yeah.
So I mean, it's not a real estate issue; it's an economic issue, and that will continue. And I don't think that's going to ease up anytime soon. And I agree, buyer confidence is a big driver in that. People just don't know what the future holds, and right now they're more sitting in a holding pattern than they are out making active big purchase decisions.
Yeah. So for those, I mean, those who are going to make a move, if they feel relatively confident about their financial picture, we've talked about this many times. One of the best things you can do is try and time your purchase and your sale as closely together as you can to minimize the opportunity for anything going sideways in the market. Um, and be pragmatic. I mean, if you don't have to spend to your maximum budget, that's probably a smart move.
Yeah.
It's it's just a sign of the times we're in. But with prices a bit lower than we've seen the last couple of years or so, I mean, I think that's a realistic opportunity for folks to be able to buy perhaps below their maximum budget.
Well, I think buyers are still looking for a deal. So the ones that are
Always.
shopping, seriously shopping, they are looking for a deal. Unfortunately, one of the things I'm hearing a lot of is I got a lot of people looking at homes, and I'm either hearing that they're early in their search, or they're not ready to buy yet, or they need to sell before they buy, and they haven't sold yet. So you do have people out there looking at homes that are not in a position today to buy, but they are out there looking at homes. So I mean, they want things to happen, but they're stuck on the other end of that as well, where they're sitting on a house on the market that they can't sell, so they can't obviously
Yeah.
buy until they unload their home. And condition of sale offers. I mean, we've seen those in the last year come back up again, and they've been around. And I've even had a few agents ask us if we'd consider it. Again, to me, any offer you want to put together, put it in writing, and we can give it some serious consideration. But
Yeah. Case by
I got a
case
lot
for
of
sure.
agents. Yeah, I get a lot of agents right now. I'm finding they're calling asking, "Hey, would your client?" I can't answer that question unless you put it in writing and I put it in front of them, and they can give you a bona fide
Then they can
response.
give you the answer.
That's the thing, right? I
Yeah.
mean, John, you and I have dealt with it a number of times where an agent comes in and says, "Oh, well, your clients take this, this, and this." That's what my clients are. And you go talk to your clients, and they hem and haw, and they come back and say, "Okay, we can do this and this," and then you never hear back from the agent again. So, I
Yeah.
mean, serious
Put it in
buyers.
writing, put it on paper, and see what they say.
And that's been my challenge back to every agent that calls me. And the fact that we're not getting anything on writing tells me that those buyers are not serious bona fide buyers at this moment. They're still out there just
Yeah.
shopping and cruising the waters looking for the best deal they can find.
Yeah, I think, the buyers who are lukewarm like that, if they could somehow find it within them to maybe just turn the dial up a little bit and put it on paper, you never
Yeah,
know what's going to happen. I don't know how many deals I've looked at that have gone across the board lately where, the list price was X and the sale price was notably lower.
yeah,
Like 200,000. I looked at one the other day. It listed for 125, they sold for 1,050,000.
yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think a lot of sellers are looking at it where nothing else in my neighborhood is selling and we're all priced around the same. So why should I drop my price if nothing else is selling anyways? Whereas if you're a buyer coming in, what did Wayne Gretzky say? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
Sellers they may not be dropping the price today, but they're definitely willing to look at an offer that comes in and negotiate in good faith. So, this whole old adage of, I don't want to insult the seller,
I
no
mean,
offer.
at the end of the day, you don't necessarily want to do that, but at the same
No.
time, absolutely nothing is going to happen if you don't put an offer together.
Worst they can do is say no, right? And that's what I tell my sellers at the same time. Don't be upset about an offer that comes in. You can always say no. You have the last say. My issue is the fact that these buyers are asking questions and they're not coming to the table with that offer. So are you genuinely looking to get a deal done on this house? And that's one of the things that we're dealing with out there today. And that leads back to the whole consumer confidence. If they're not confident enough, what is it that's holding them back? If you've eliminated every other option other than giving them a verbal commitment to something that we actually don't have the authority to do.
Yeah. Well, I hope as we get into the new year, which is coming very quickly, we'll start to see buyers, especially those who are serious, once the holidays are behind them and they've paid off their shopping bill on their Visa. If they're serious about making a move, that they look at the market for what it is, and there's opportunity out there. We've said this, I think, the last several months, but there is definitely opportunity out there, and I hope that we'll see, we get things moving again. I'd like to see the number of sales tick upward. Seasonally, that should naturally happen as we get towards spring, but as you said, there's probably a few that have come off the market for the holidays and will probably come back on at some point in January or February.
Yep. And I
So.
think, I mean, from an interest rate perspective and everything else, we still have a lot of mortgages coming due, especially this period coming up of those low rate mortgages coming due. So you still got a lot of people out there that are dealing with that. But in all reality, we're sitting on a 5-year fixed right now in the low fours. So you're still not in a
That's
bad
not
spot with
bad.
mortgage. No, I mean, that's 2 years ago that didn't look pretty. 3 years ago that didn't look good. But, that was the anomaly, not this. 4% is not a bad mortgage.
No,
You're
I mean, we actually just last month, I saw a couple examples just under 3.95. So, it's,
I think it all goes back to the same thing we talked about, throughout this whole thing is that buyer confidence. I don't think the
yeah,
interest rate, I don't think any of that's the thing holding people up right now. It's that buyer confidence. There's so much uncertainty in the economy. People want to see a little bit of stability before they go out and make those big, big commitments. So
yeah.
let's hope that happens.
If it was rates, we would have seen an uptick in sales in the period immediately following each of the last several rate cuts.
Yeah, yeah. So we got a month left of the year. We're already a quarter of the way through it, anyways. So let's see how the rest of 2025 shapes up, and then in January we can kind of do a recap of what the year looked like. I don't think there'll be any big surprises in the year, but we can do that once we get through this next 3 weeks. And let's hope 2026 has some bright spots in it that start to at least get us to turn the corner a little bit there.
Well, I always say there's opportunity in every market. It's
Absolutely.
for those who seek it out, I think now's a good time, and chances are they'll find it.
Well, we're seeing it. I mean, the sales that are happening, you are seeing some deals happening out there on both sides that are, from the sales side and from a buyer's perspective. So, again, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So if you're looking, put it in front of somebody, take a shot, and you never know what's going to happen.
There you go. Well, happy holidays, and we'll reconvene with a year-end summary early January.
Sounds good. Happy holidays and all the best.
Okay, see ya.
Take care.